Hey guys, this is Andy with another Thorn Computers build. This build is actually for a colleague of mine. He was looking for a high-end gaming build. He wants to be able to do VR. Along with this build, we have the Oculus Rift, so that will be getting set up as well on his 1080 Ti graphics card. He also has gone ahead and done the full-out gaming build, so he got a 32-inch Asus VA325 gaming. Sorry, my cat keeps stacking my feet. Gaming monitor, as well as the full lineup of RGB keyboard, mouse, and headset, all by Corsair. These are some of my favorite products that we carry. I use them often. The Corsair Void Pro RGB, great headset, 7.1 Dolby Surround, great quality, awesome for gaming. We got the K55 RGB gaming keyboard, fully mechanical, 10 plus different colors, and we have the Corsair Harpoon RGB. This is actually a combo set that you can get through Thorn Computers. Hi, everybody. That you can get through Thorn Computers. Like I said, 10 plus customizable colors. The keyboard is fully mechanical and 6 programmable buttons on the mouse. The mouse and keyboard I have not used, so this will be kind of cool to be able to see the keyboard and mouse. The headset I had used, fantastic headset. It's awesome. Really, really comfortable on your head as well, and just perfect quality. So I'm really looking forward to getting into the keyboard and mouse as well. So some of the things that you guys saw me incorporate in the last build was the cable extensions. This is something that I have continued with. The theme of his computer is black and purple. So we got our SP120s, our fans are purple, and black and purple cable extensions. So I'm really excited to get these in there. The build's going to be awesome. I've already taken a look at some of the parts that are going in it. We got the Asus X370 motherboard, Ryzen 7 1800 CPU. We got the 1080 Ti MSI, and the list goes on. We're going with the H100i version 2 again. I like the way that one worked in the previous case. This case, it's a little bit different. So I've been going primarily with Fractal Design, Silverstone, and NZXT for my cases. The main reason I go with them is because I know they're good quality. They're durable. They're to make sure that the customer gets a good product. And my cat is attacking my headset once again. Go on, Zeus. So I try to continue with companies because I know what they're capable of. I don't like deviating from the norm. In this case, I know Corsair. I use a lot of their products in my builds, and I went with the Corsair Carbide. First time that I've used this case, I have taken the faceplate off, kind of looked at it a little bit. The calisthenics of it, awesome. It's really functional. It's got 3 slots on the back for SSDs. It's also got a hidden area on the bottom for your 3.5-inch hard drives. So in this, he's going to have a 240 solid state in it, which is primarily going to hold his applications. I'm probably going to end up throwing some game data on there because he is using the Oculus Rift. and I want that to really shine for him, and then hold mainly game data on his 2 terabyte hard drive. So give me a minute, we'll start going over some of the parts here. I know I've kind of explained them, but I'll actually give you an eyes-on view, that way you guys can kind of see what is all going in this build, and we'll get everything started up. So kind of a breakdown on the parts here. We have the AMD Ryzen 7 1800. Not going with the 1800X because we don't need the Wraith RGB CPU cooler, because we're going to be running the Corsair H100i version 2. So that's a great CPU. Overall, it's like top notch. Competes right there with like the Intel i7 7700. So fantastic CPU that really pushes out a lot of power, and it's 8 cores, so you do get 8 cores out of it. We got the Asus Prime 370X Pro. This is a badass looking motherboard. I've already opened it up. White with silver, the accents on the black. Really with the coloring of it too, I'm really looking forward to seeing how that looks, and you know, what kind of pop it has when those lights start hitting that silver and that white. So, like I said, Asus Prime 370X Pro. This also has RGB lighting on it. We have our Kingston 240 SSD. We have our Barracuda. Went with Barracuda instead of Western Digital. This time, 2 terabytes. Regular hard drive. We got 16 gigs of Vengeance 3000 megahertz, so higher clock rate, more RAM. I'm really just trying to give this guy everything he can for this ultimate gaming experience. Like I said before, Corsair H100i version 2. We got the EVGA 750 watt power supply, and the beast of all beasts, MSI Armor GeForce 1080 Ti 11 gigs dedicated DDR5 RAM. This is gonna kick ass. I'm really looking forward to getting this in, and maybe even later down the road, seeing if I can pick one of these up for Red Velvet, and doing like a liquid cool, fully customized, water cooled tubing and everything. So alright guys, so right now you're taking a down look view on the desktop. As usual, we have our motherboard laid out. You can see the white and silver accents kind of all over the place right now. I already have the Ryzen 1800. I don't know if you guys can read that, but again, we're going to find our little triangle. It's down in the bottom, let me see here, I believe it's going to be your bottom left side corner. Find that on the chipset here. I do want to get some Intel builds up here for you guys too, so you know, if anyone is interested in an Intel computer, definitely reach out to me and I can help you with that. So just going to give a little bit of a wiggle. Everything is solid there. You saw what I did with the arm. It's the same for all AMDs. They all just have the pivoting arm. Key part, make sure that you're not bending or forcing in those pins at all. Otherwise, that CPU is trashed. And I am going to be snapping some pictures, so I'll try to pause it as much as possible when I'm doing that. But just so you kind of know, if there is some pausing in it, that's probably why. So, alright, CPU is in. Go ahead and get the RAM out here, get those 16 gigs of RAM installed, and of course consult your owner's manual. Each motherboard is different. For this motherboard, just so happens to be 2 and 4, the 2 gray ones. definitely make sure you're utilizing some of your owner's manuals when doing these builds if you're doing them at home. I'm here to help you guys to join the master race. I want to see it. I want to see it grow, and I want to be that guy that you guys come to if you got questions, comments, things like that. If there's anything that you guys think I can do better, let me know. I'm all ears. So we got our 16 gigs installed, and then obviously if you were doing 32, as of right now, this is really all we can do with the board itself outside of taking these mounts off, because that's going to be replaced with the actual mounts for the H100. So I'll go ahead and pull those mounts off. Basically, there's just 2 screws in each side, Phillips head. So I got my little handy dandy toolkit here. Just gonna pull those off and get the adapter on. Basically, they're just like standoffs. So get those on, and then I'll get back with you guys. Alright guys, so I've gone ahead and done a few things here. We got the Corsair H100i version 2. I went ahead and mounted my 120mm fans. I've covered this in previous videos, but I'll cover it again. 240mm rad. You have your pusher and your return hoses, and then you have your pump right here. It does take a small USB cable that's going to be plugged into one of the USB heads on your actual motherboard itself. So if you're thinking about putting this in a build, definitely be aware of that. Make sure you plug that in, because it will not function without that USB head plug. So we've gotten the CPU mounted onto the motherboard, and we've got the RAM installed. We've got our dual fans onto our 240mm rad. Our AIO is ready to go. I have the mount bracket basically all set up. So now we're going to actually turn our attention to the case and kind of organizing things, getting that situated for us to get the motherboard installed, get that back shield installed, and kind of press forward with that, because right now a lot of the work's done. Alright guys, so I'm going to give you kind of a rundown on the case here. It is the Corsair Carbide. This one has the glass, well actually I think it's more of a plastic. It's a plastic door along the side, which to me it's really nice. It has this little hinge on it, swings open. Honestly, I wish it would have been glass. That's the one thing I don't really like about it, is the fact that the door, you spend a decent amount of money on it, plastic. Like, you can feel the plastic of it. You got all your slots back here, your PCIe slots. I know you guys can't really see it from this angle. We got where we're going to be mounting our motherboard. We have our cables coming in, which I thought I took really neat about this case. We have our little access holes right here. I really like NZXT style, where they have that solid piece of metal that runs down. So cable management's a little bit neater than these. What I tend to find is that you have some glowing through this, and you can see right now, like, you can see when there's something behind it, and when you have LED lights in here, it tends to shine through here a little bit, and you can see this. I like it when it's dark and you can't see this, but not so much when you can see right into it. We have a huge space right here, and it actually runs all the way to the bottom. So realistically, we could put a 360mm radiator down here. Now, in terms of the fan, I don't know if we'd have enough clearance down here for the fans, unless we swap it around and actually do a pulling style, where we mount the rad right here and do our 320mm fans on the outside of the case, which is definitely a possibility. Off the faceplate, we got this big opening here. There it is. we actually do have a screen, and it's magnetic. Very nice. Very, very nice. I like the fact that they incorporated the magnetic, oops. And I think I just pulled one of the magnets out. Maybe? I have no idea. Oh, I don't know where that came from. Weird. Okay, well, that's super sweet. So, magnetic screen. Up a lot of our cables. I like this cable management design. It's got some sleek angles to it as well. I'll go ahead and turn it around so you can kind of see what's on the back. Honestly, I think this is my favorite part about this case in particular. Is, look at this. So, on the back side, we have 3 slots here for SSDs, 2.5-inch drives, and then along the bottom, you can't really see it. I'll pick it up. Right here, our hard drives are actually mounted in an intelligent way. What I hate about making this in the back and having it accessible this way, I understand that from a point of accessibility, like you have to take off this back plate in order to get your drives out. That's a little inconvenient, but the fact that you don't see them, 90% of the time you're not going to be pulling out a drive or reinstalling a drive, things like that. So you don't really have to worry about that. And I like the fact that they did it this way. My personal thoughts on it, leave a comment and let me know what you guys think about that. So what we'll do is we will get our standoffs installed and get our motherboard installed, and then I'll get back with you guys for the next steps of the build here. Alright guys, so what we got here is we have our motherboard mounted, we got our CPU installed, our RAM is situated, we got our standoffs here installed for the CPU cooler, which is going to mount right there. We're going to have our radiator that's going to be sitting right here, and then our GPU, which I will show you guys in just a moment. One thing I did actually find, because we did have to install the I/O shield, which is the shield that goes along the back here. Give you guys a quick look at that. This guy right here. So you got to make sure that you push that in there. Make sure it gets properly seated. This one was actually really nice because it had some cushioning to it, which is going to be significantly better for silencing. And I also found Asus ROG. This is the Republic of Gamer SLI. So I thought that was really cool. I thought that was really cool that Asus incorporated this into this motherboard. Normally, a lot of them don't provide SLI bridges, and the fact that they did just kind of goes to show what kind of company Asus is. They anticipate people to add multiple graphic cards to this motherboard, which there again goes to show this is a high-end motherboard. It can support multiple GPUs and a lot of load that's thrown at it. So this is a very good motherboard. I'll be running some tests on it as well, stress tests. I'll post those up as well. But right now we are going to go ahead and press forward. We're going to get our Corsair AIO installed, the actual cooler. Just going to mount right there, and I'll let you guys take a look at everything when it's all situated. Alright, so I have the AIO, the CPU cooler installed. Now what I'm going to go ahead and do is press forward and go ahead and mount the 2 fans up top. I'm actually kind of debating right now whether or not I'm going to install more fans or if I'm just going to leave the fans, the 4 fans that I have for this build. Kind of depends on how everything looks when it's all said and done with, and we'll kind of get to that point. I like the callus, which is nice because in front of the case it has this flat surface, and along the side it actually has its exhaust ports. So rather than if the computer's sitting right at someone's feet, it's not blowing right on them. It's going to be blowing out the sides. They might get a little bit of heat from that, but it's really not going to be that much. I know the NZXT S340 that I have, it has the same concept, except it's on the top and on the bottom. So the heat's blowing out, but it's actually being kicked out up and down, which is reducing the amount of heat that it's actually able to kick out, but at the same time it's not. It's directing it in a certain direction, that way it's not blowing right on you. And for these AIOs, that's really nice to have. So I'm going to go ahead and get those mounted up. I'll kind of let you guys see how it's kind of playing out. I did go ahead and connect my USB 3.0's power reset, yada yada yada. We got a radiator right here. Our hoses are running perpendicular to the actual pump itself. And then we're going to mount the two fans up top here. We also have a spot in the back for a fan, and that's kind of what I'm looking at right now. It looks really open. It's got this nice little hole right here, so all of my front buttons, USBs, that actually goes right through there. It hides the cables really nice. So we'll kind of see what happens. We'll play this one by ear, and hopefully everything kind of works out in our favor. Alright, so we got those dual fans mounted up top. We got the cables running down the back. I'm going to step away from the actual build, the case itself, for a minute to go over the GPU. Alright, so what we got here is the MSI Armor GTX 1080 Ti Overclock Edition. This is the first time that I'm actually going to be opening up this GPU. I've actually been watching the market quite a lot for this specific GPU, and kind of want to do an unboxing of it. So just like most MSIs, we're going to have our little folder, and this folder I actually keep, and I leave all the disk drivers and operating systems, disks, any booklets that the user might need, and then these usually come with like a poster or a sticker. I'm actually kind of curious as to what is in this one. So, Lucky the Dragon. Kind of cool stuff. Got a couple of stickers there. I usually don't mess with those too much. I do leave them in here just for the user. If they want them, they can throw them on their build. But that's more or less just for the consumer of the build. So we got our nice little box. It looks nice too. It's kind of like a matte black. It's got the gloss MSI finish to it. So it's basically what that looks like. Alright, so like I said, this is the first time that I'm going to be opening up this GPU. I'm really excited for it because I've never opened up this graphic card before, so I'm very curious as to see what it looks like, the durability of it, and the quality of it. So, as most MSIs, most graphic cards in general, they're going to come in this static cloth. What I do is leave this guy on here. So, we have, I always pull these things off right away. There was one time that I forgot pull this off, and it made me so mad that I gave a customer a GPU with that plastic still on it. So make sure you pull that off. Alright, so this is our MSI GTX 1080. A little bit heavier than our traditional card, which doesn't really surprise me. One thing that does kind of surprise me here is on the back, traditionally on the MSI cards, especially the 1060, it has a metal backing, almost like a beef-up plate on here. I'm surprised it's not on here. Incredibly surprised that it's not on here. I would have liked to seen that on this card. But I mean, it's not really a make or break. To me, it just adds durability and it shows the quality of the card itself. So we have this low profile fan, dual fans here, black and white. I love the coloring scheme to it. We do have our dual 6-pin plugs. I believe all 1080s come with dual 6 pins, so make sure that all your stuff is compatible with that. Tubing, I'm not going to pull off any of these face plates. It will avoid the warranty, and I don't want that for my customers. So unfortunately, I won't be able to take it apart and kind of see what the actual chip looks like and the card itself looks like. But overall, I mean, it's a good looking card. I'm curious to see how it benchmarks and stuff like that, so I'll dig into that a little bit later. But this is the unveiling of the 1080.